Well, hello there, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're safe and well. In this video, I'm going to be doing some 2-2 pellet testing and specifically looking at the JTS Dead Center pellets in 2 different weights to see if they're a contender. So let's get on with it. Roll the titles. So here we have the two tins of JTS pellets then. We've got the lighter ones, 16.08 grain, and the heavier 18.13 grain, both in 2-2 obviously, and 250 pellets in the tin. Let's open up the tin of the light ones and see what they look like. Get a bit of foam protection in the top. They all look fairly clean in the tin. Can't see any sort of signs of damage. They've got very, very thin skirts compared to some of the other pellets that I shoot, which may be a good thing because obviously thin skirt is going to expand in the barrel a lot easier, you would imagine. Anyway, let's tip these out and just have a look. Right, there's foam in the bottom of the tin. Let's have a look and see if there's any dirt. Well, there's a couple of tiny little specks of something in there, but there's no oil or residue. A couple of little tiny specks, but you know, relatively clean. And if you look at these, look, you can see they're all nice and clean and shiny. Let's roll the cloth up a little bit and see if there's any dirt left on the cloth. Oh, let's put them back in the tin. Get that out of the way. And there you can see the cloth's the cloth's perfectly clean. So no debris in the tin on those ones. Let's just check the other tin just to make sure that's not a fluke. Screw top tins as well, which I like. Less likely to come undone in your gun bag and tip the pellets everywhere. Right, do the same again with this lot. Actually, yeah, again, quite thin skirts on these. Let's tip pellets out. Again, looking in the tin, no debris. All fairly clean. Can't see any signs of any deformation anywhere. If there are any damaged pellets, they're few and far between. So let's roll those about. Put those back in the tin. And have a look again. And again, look. Perfectly clean, no sign of any debris. So, well, that's a good sign to start with, isn't it? So let's do a weight check with them. Right, let's just do a quick check of consistency of weights then. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put 10 random pellets on the scale, and then whatever the grain reading is, we'll divide that by 10 and see how close it is to what's on the tin. So we'll start with the light ones then. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we've got 160.87 you can see on there. So if you divide that by 10, well, it's just gone up to 0.9. So that's 16.09. So that averages, yeah, that averages out at 16.09, and it's 16.08 on the tin. So you're talking about 1/100th of a grain. So really negligible on those. So that's pretty good. Let's put them back in the tin. And we'll try the heavier ones, 18.13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's come out at 180.7, as you can see. So that is 18.07, which is about 0.06. So 6/100ths. The average is 6/100ths below the weight on the tin. So, you know, not too far off. I'd be a bit more concerned if it was tenths of a grain rather than hundredths. So that's pretty good, you know, as a quick check. That's pretty good consistency. So we'll give them that. Here we are outside then, ready to commence pellet testing. I'm going to be starting with 8 different pellets at 25 yards, and then we're going to sort of fine those down, find the best of those, and then extend them out to 35 yards and see how these JTS pellets compare to all the other brands that I'm testing. The way that I'm going to do this is obviously I'm conscious of the different lead that the different manufacturers make. So before switching pellets, I'm going to put one magazine full of those pellets through the barrel, just to lead the barrel in with that, just to so that there's we're not getting any sort of skewed results from that. And I'm also going to recharge the rifle up to 190 bars before each of the tests, so they start from the same pressure point. The reason that I've chose 190 as opposed to 200 is when I did the power test on this rifle, I noticed that as I moved away from 200, the power was picking up. So I'm thinking that there might be sort of like a sweet spot beyond sort of 190 bars. So that's why we've chosen that. I'm going to be, because of the way that I've written the pellets over the target at the end there, I'm going to be shooting them out of order on the target, and you'll see why as we go along. I'll just introduce each pellet, and then I'll show a speeded up section of video of the actual pellets hitting the targets, just so that you know, it's not a too long a video, boring video to watch. So I've got the video camera down the bottom. Today is, we're probably lucked out really. Today is probably the best weather wind wise that we're likely to have, you know, compared to what we've suffered from the previous week, and the wind's going to pick up as the week goes on. So, you know, it's a gentle breeze of about 2 to 3 miles per hour today, so it's ideal conditions for outside. Bit of freezing fog this morning, so don't be you know, misled because the sun's out. It's still quite cold out here, but we'll crack on and see how we get on. So I'm going to be starting with Exact Jumbo Diablos 15.89 grain. Next pellet then is a JSB stablemate. It's the Air Arms Diablo Field. Now it's in the wrong tin because this is what's left of a sample. I've got about 25 pellets left of a sample that I bought before. These are 2.2 5.52 head size, 16 grain air arms Diablo fields. So we'll give them a go. Next up then is the H&N Barracuda 15, which again 15.89 grains. Well, I just shot the Barracuda 15s and realised that when I went to recharge the rifle, I hadn't turned the downrange camera back on, so you'll only see the results of those two groups. You'll notice that there's one shot there down to the bottom right in the first group that was either me or as a flyer. Didn't think that was fair because the group was going so well, so I did shoot a 6 shot in there that went in the main group. Now moving on to the Crossman Ultra Magnums, 14.3 grain. Well, I had another flyer on the last group on the second 5 shots, so I took an extra one. As it turns out, I pulled that one as well, so can't be helped. Still a good group though. So moving on then, first of the probably what's the budget pellets, the Webley VMX Pel, 14.66 grain. Next then, another budget pellet. Yeah, I think these are budget pellets. The Wasps, quite a well-known old brand, I believe. 14.4 grain. Right, so that's all the rest sorted then. So we finally come to the JTS Dead Center pellets, and we're going to start with the 16.08 grain. And last but not least, we've got the JTS Dead Center in 18.13 grain. Well, that's all the 25-yard shooting complete. Let's take a look at the target and decide which pellets we're going to carry forward to the 35-yard test. Let's take a quick look at the 25-yard target then. Stuck the 5p piece on here just for reference, but as a reminder, this target is 20mm diameter targets with a 5mm diameter bullseye. So looking at the starting with the JSB Exact Jumbos then, I took 6 shots in this first group because this one was a bit of a flyer on the side there. So if I discount that, we got 15mm there. That's easily 15, probably nearer, probably about 11. Moving across to the H&N Barracuda 15s. I don't know whether I took an extra shot for that one, but definitely 4 shots in there. So 4 shots there would do 10mm, and then that's about 16mm, I guess. And then move across here, and that's easily 15mm. Down to the Crossmans. Always surprised me. They do very well. Did very well in the Ghost when I shot that with a 2.2 barrel. Another 15 there. I think what I did there, that was a flyer, so I took an extra shot. So we'll discount that one, and yeah, 15mm there. The VMX Pels. I don't know whether I took an extra for that, but let's have a look at that anyway. That's 4 shots in 15. Oh no, the Wasps. Yeah, I did take extra shots for these, so I discounted these 2 flyers. So that's 5 there. Not bad. And that's 5 there. Not bad. Nearly 10mm. Down to the AA Diablo Fields. And that's easily 15. 15 there. The VMX is VMX Pel 15. It's a little bit bigger, that group, but definitely 15 centre to centre. So that brings us down to make a comparison with the JTSs then down at the bottom here, which, you know, straight away you can see performed very well. So we've got probably about 11mm group there, and probably the same again there. Bit of a flyer there. I've got 4 shots through those 2 holes there, 4 shots through 10mm, but that's easily a 15. And then another really nice group there that's just over 10, probably 11mm. So they perform quite well there. Now you might be wondering, you know, why did I start off at 25 when they're all going to look pretty good at 25 yards probably, when I could have gone straight out of a long distance. And my reasoning was that I would hope to discount some of the pellets so that I didn't have to take all 8 forward to do the 35 yards. So I'm a bit surprised by the Wasps and the VMX Pels. That they gave a good account of themselves in comparison. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take all 8 out to 35 yards and see how they get on at that distance. Okay, so we finished the 25-yard session then, had a break for lunch. It's got quite warmer now, quite a bit warmer. So I've been able to take off some of the layers and switch from the beanie to the cap to keep the sun out of my eyes, and put a target down at 35 yards. As we said, looking at the reviewing the target wasn't really fair to disclude any of the pellets with them results from 25 yards. So we're going to go through the whole lot again at 35 yards and see how the extra 10 yards, what sort of difference it makes. So I've made an adjustment on the elevation turret on the rifle so that I can still use the crosshairs on the target. So let's get on with it, see how we can get on. JSB Jumbos, 35 yards. Here runs Diablo Fields, 35 yards. Crossman Ultra Magnums at 35 yards. H&N Barracuda 15s at 35 yards. Wasps at, you guessed it, 35 yards. VMX Pill, 35 yards. And we're finally back to the JTS Dead Center pellets with the 16.0 grains, 35 yards. And finally, last but not least, JTS Dead Center 18.13 grain at 35 yards. Well, seeing as I was all set up for shooting at 35 yards, before I packed away, I thought I'd do a little test. Now, if you've watched my videos before, you know that I tend to favour a single shot loader over a magazine, because I'm not convinced in most rifles that when you load a pellet through the magazine, it's loaded cleanly without, you know, any sort of like pellet damage. And my experience of all the other rifles that I've had is that the single shot loader seems to be a little bit kinder when you're loading pellets. But since using this BSA magazine in this Ultra between groups, when I said I was shooting a magazine full of shots, the target that I was shooting at, they seem to be shooting quite well actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a test. I'm going to use the JTS 16 grains, the lighter ones, and I'm going to shoot 10 shots on the target down there. I've marked 2 dots, A and B. I'm not going to tell you which is which. I'm going to shoot 10 shots at one with the single shot loader and 10 shots at the other with the magazine, and see if there's any difference. And if you'd like to know which is which, I'll tell you at the end of the video. Let's get on with it, shall we? Well, that's all the shooting finished then. I guess we need to look at the target and come up with some conclusions then. Let's take a look at the 35mm target then. Same size target as the previous 25 yards with the 20mm circles and the 5mm dots. So we've still got the 5p there for reference. So we start with the Exact Jumbos then. Started off well in the 25 yards, but for some reason these were all spreading out. I took an extra shot. It was either this one or this one to try and make a group. We got that four shots there, which are probably about, I'd say about 16 or 17mm group there. Second group was a bit better. That's a 15mm group there. So I don't know what happened. This first one's just me shooting badly, I guess. AA Diablo Fields. We got 15mm group there, and then this spread out. I discounted this one and I did an extra shot, so basically we've got the 20mm group there, so 15 and a 20mm group. Crossman again, it's like the jumbos. The first group, I did, was it? Yeah, I did an extra shot because I think, you know, that was what I thought was a flyer there. Yeah, not a good group. But then did the same thing again. Got a flyer out to the right, put 5 shots in there, and got, you know, best part of a 15mm group. So that was fine. The Barracuda 15s was spread out a bit. So, oh, maybe paper. Yeah, the best we can get there is 20mm. And then, did I do an extra shot? I don't think I did an extra shot for that one there. So, yeah, 2 20mm groups. The Wasps, yeah, I think I've got 4 shots there. I did a low one and I did an extra shot and ended up 2 shots going the same. But if I discount those for poor shooting, then we've got about 16mm there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. Yeah, see another flyer there. The rest of those 4 going 20. The VMX Pels, the first group there was pretty good. That was easily probably about, yeah, not far off of a 15mm group there. Then I took extra shots here, extra 2 shots because one was high and the second one went in the same place. So yeah, we're looking at a 20mm group there. And then down to the JTSs then, see how they did in comparison. The first group there, I had a bit of a flyer here, so I did an extra shot. So there's 5 in that group, which is just about 15mm without that flyer. And then the second group, same again. So not bad, 15mm groups with the 16 grain. The 18 grain opened up a bit. 5 shots here that will 20mm center to center there. And then the second group, I had this one go high. I think I actually put 7 shots in the target. I lost count. So that was the flyer. Did an extra shot there and I ended up putting 6 shots through this group here. So, you know, that's 6 shots in 15mm. So JTS Dead Center pellets gave quite a good account of themselves actually once you stretched out the distance. Probably, looking at this, probably the best performer of all the rest. A quick look at the test target then. Magazine versus single shot loader. 10 shots in each group. You'll see here that they near enough go under a 5 with a couple of flyers. In this group, 9 shots from 1 flyer. So which is which? Make your mind up, watch to the end of the video and I'll give you the answer. I thought it would be interesting to have a quick look at the prices to work out, you know, how these compare with each other. So you can see here what I did is I did a quick search, not an in-depth search, but a quick search on the internet of the cheapest price that I could find for the pellets that were currently in stock. I mean, obviously I did find some cheaper prices, but they were out of stock, so I couldn't really include those. So as you can see in here, I've included the price per tin. Some of the tins contain 500 pellets, some contain 250. So then I've worked out the price per 500 pellets and then the price per pellet. So you can see here, you know, the best performer perhaps with the JTS Dead Centers, the 1608s at £7.39 a tin, that works out £14.78. Obviously you've got to pay postage on top of that, but you know, I think given the performance of the pellets, that's probably quite good value. So there you go, a bit of extra information for you anyway. Well, that's the results then. As you can see, we've got the card in front of me here, looking at it. I think I think you'll agree that the JTS Dead Center pellets came out very well on that, and I think that certainly for my 2.2 Ultra barrel, the JTS 16 is probably the best pellets of the lot. So that is what I'm going to get some more of, I think, and stick with those for a while till something better comes along. But one thing to bear in mind, these are the results with my barrel, with my rifle. You know, your results may vary. All barrels and different rifles seem to like different pellets, so do your own testing, but worth a try. If you haven't used these pellets, it's worth giving them a try, see how you get on with them. So okay, that only leaves us then to revisit the magazine and single shot loader challenge. So let's have a look at the results of that. Well, here's the solution to the test, the magazine single shot loader test. Did you get it right? The best grouping was actually out the magazine, surprisingly. Well, that's all I've got for this one. Hope you found that interesting. Thanks for joining me. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please click on the subscribe button and click on the thumbs up as well. Doesn't cost you anything, and it does help me quite a bit in getting the channel out to other people that might find it interesting. So hopefully then, see you on the next one. Until then, bye for now.